AI as a catalyst towards sustainability. Please welcome Dilek on stage.
So, hello. I think there will be a couple of people who are coming maybe a little bit because we are a little bit earlier in time. But yesterday, as I arrived from Mannheim to Berlin, I drove by train, and I had in my luggage 2 points, 2 topics, AI and sustainability. And of course, this is something what is fundamental changing. Both topics are changing the industry and also our world. So this is something where each of us really need to take care of. When we are thinking about ourselves, it's also that companies need to think about it. It's not only we that we are thinking about it. And it's much more than only sustainability, because you are talking about ESG, environmental, sustainable governance. And when we are talking about the subject, it is also important to take care which employees would want to work with us. It's about the employees who are coming to us. It's about our structure in the company. It's so much more. It's also about Lieferkettengesetz, so about the supply chain we are having. So it's much more than only the sustainability approach. And each company will be judged on that, how they are focusing on these 3 subjects. And of course, there are a lot of legal subjects which they need to cover. And this is really challenging, because you need to think about a lot of things in that area. But just coming where we are in the moment, and it's not only about compliance, it's also the possibility for each company to grow, to innovate, and to be better than others, and to show up in the industry. So there are 60% of CEOs who are already knowing the transparency of their sustainability. It's 64% of CEOs who are also knowing what their sustainable goals are. And it's 80% who are already investing in that subject. By the way, this data is from IBM, and there are a lot of IBM studies 2022. You could have a look when you are looking in the internet on them. There are a lot of subjects already in it. And by the way, in 2021, the IBM study says that 42% of CEOs are knowing that digital innovation and digital technologies are important to do sustainability. What does it mean? It means we need to use AI to take care about sustainability. So what are the priorities for the people who want to do sustainability for 2022? The most common priority is ESG reporting. So how you could handle this, how you could operationalize these things, how you could do your ESG reporting, how you could understand your data, your integration, your governance around this subject, and also that you create a form of benchmarking in that area. The second thing is the whole operation around the subject sustainability. It's the skills, the data, the metrics, everything what the employees needs to do on that character. And it's also about supply chain. And last but not least, it's also green IT. So you need to take care about on which infrastructure you are doing what. And you have heard this in the morning from Fabian. It's the most impacting thing, yeah, how the infrastructure is looking like. By the way, I have also a colleague with me, Arne Melchior, sitting here in the front. So if you want to talk a little bit more about green IT, you could talk later with him on that. So you need to do a balance in each of the things you are doing in the reporting and in the regularity. It's a continuous cycle of improvement you need to do. You need to lead, to innovate, to optimize, to comply. You have to act, to decide. There are a lot of things in the different scope models you need to do. And thus throughout the complete value chain. We had already talked about data is the base of everything of this. Yeah? And when we are talking about data, it's in all industry, different data types you will have. And you need to take care of this data and how you handle them. This is, by the way, the biggest challenge. We will come later to this. And of course, in your system, how you organize and structure and do everything around sustainability. And your infrastructure, we have talked about this already. And technology with AI, for example. We at IBM have a unique position in this. And maybe you have already heard this. We have 100 years of experience. And we are bringing together such kind of things like green IT, like software, also like automation and analytics. And we have a model for this, and this model is looking like this. It's turned sustainability ambitions into options in action. It's, first of all, a strategy you need to do. The organization around everything. It's the ESG reporting, and you have the facilities, you have the infrastructure and the supply chain behind this. And when we are looking a little bit on what does it mean when we are looking on some kind of software and hardware, you find here a couple of things like data and AI technology. You find also garages and MVPs. We will talk about this also. What does it mean? And you have also something like in the middle, in the IT infrastructure, turbonomics, or very classical Linux One or mainframe. You maybe know mainframe the best for IBM. So, coming to the challenges, and these are the biggest things when we are talking around this subject. The challenges are always the data. And with the data, you have the problem, you have siloed data, you have them in different data sets, you have them, you do not have a connection between them, you do have a lot of pressure because the CEO or the CIO is saying, hey, what is my sustainability goals is looking like? And you need to bring your stakeholders something back. You need to give them some impact. You have to talk with them, and you have a lot of you do not have the standardization. And the most common thing is lack in accuracy. And I had already the talk yesterday evening a little bit about this. This is about trustworthiness. So it's garbage in, garbage out. Yeah? So it's also, you need to take care about this. How is my data is looking like? Which kind of data I'm taking in? And how much data I'm taking in, and how diverse is my data maybe. Yeah? So if you have always the same data set, also for the sustainability subject and in your reporting, you will also have a problem in getting the right output on it. So you need to take care about the subject to say, okay, how is the trustworthiness of my complete data is looking like? When we are looking from the complete approach, this is our model how we are looking at the complete platform. It's mainly on data and AI. It's, of course, you have below the foundation of the data platform. This is, in fact, normally the data fabric. Everybody knows this. We have a product for this. It's called Cloud Pack for Data. And with this Cloud Pack for Data, you have the possibility to share all your data in any kind of things. You have the assets together, and you could use the completely regulatory compliances in the Cloud Pack for Data. Here you see example for this. This is a use case which we have developed with, as an EU taxonomy advisor. And we have built this with an MVP team. What does it mean? We have a special team who are creating for free with customers together in a 6 weeks approach, together with them in a data set and looking how this could look like when you are coming with your data. And this is one example of this. It was for the European Bank. And we put there a couple of products together and could have seen here also how it could look like when you are taking the whole EU taxonomy in it. This is the chart what we are calling client engineering. This is the team who built this up. So this is always possible to say, I'm interested in the subject, let's build something together. And by the way, this is not only for our product. Of course, you could use also open source products in that cases to build up here something together. The next area is the AI models and what you could use here. And the most important thing I will take out here is the natural language processing. Because you have always data who are unstructured. And you need this unstructured data also in your reporting. So you need a common tool which you could use to use the unstructured data. And one thing we are having here is the Watson Discovery. It's extract the ESG data out of any kind of data you are having. And we have interfaces in a lot of software with it, and you could use it as data engine. Here is an example for it, where you could see it from the screenshot. There he's taking Gesamtzahlen der Beschäftigten, for example, and taking the numbers then into your reporting. So now, a very important part is coming on the reporting, and we had this in the beginning, that reporting is playing a really huge role. And when we are coming for the reporting, we have a tool, which my colleague is sitting beside you. It will show later in a workshop, hands-on. You could see it live and demoed how this tool is working. And it's really incredible. You have a lot of use cases and ready models already in that software included, which is built up. And you could use these models, and we could use your data. And by the way, it works really fast because we need only 5 days to set this all up. And as said, my colleague will show it in a deep dive later. It's really incredible because you could see, for example, from all suppliers' data, you could have a look on which supplier has the best ratio on CO2 footprint. You could decide and could say, okay, I want to have 10% CO2 footprint, but I don't want to take out the costs. You could do predictions, and you could have a look on how you could optimize for yourself these things. We have also, for the whole reporting subject, we have also products to visualize such of things. One of this is Cognos, and you could visualize with them all the dashboards. You could create sustainability reports, and could integrate with the planning analytics. Of course, we have one product, and maybe you have heard this. This is Envisi. We have Byte. Envisi is doing the same, and Envisi has really the point that you also have the regularity things already in it. So you do not need to build it. It's complete in it, and you could do all your reporting on a regular basis, and that's what you are needed without doing anything. It's already in the system implemented. In the Cognos, you need to build it on your own, but both possibilities are possible. In both have, of course, integration in everything what we have. This is a dashboard, how it's looking like. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the wrong way. It's, Jetzt bin ich, glaube ich, draußen. Jetzt. Sorry for that. So the last thing I want to show you also, we have also a product around about compliance. So you need to fit all the regularity that it's coming, all the legal aspects, and there is a product called Open Pages, and you have all the questionnaires to understand the ESG priorities. You could capture the strategic objectives. You have a link to all the process risk and controls. You have indicators. So you have a lot of things to make sure that the ESG reporting is working on the compliance case. And this chart I only have in that I do not forget to talk about NVC. So this is the whole bunch when you are coming from the database as a basis, then the AI models, and in front, in the upside, it's the reporting. And here we have all the products in it, so maybe later you want to have a look on it when you are getting the charts. But finally, and this is maybe the most important part, it's how you integrate everything together. And this is the integration of the management from the whole supply chain when you are getting the data in the beginning, insight into the different models from the data fabric to the AI models, how this could look like. Of course, this is now the IBM technology included. But in all of the parts, it's also possible to talk about how the technology could look like with open source or how you would handle it in a moment. And finally, I want to ask you, when you have the time, please join my colleague, Steffen Wittenauer, on the deep dive session at 2 o'clock. He will show you the tool, and here you are seeing a little bit, thank you. Here you see the tool, how it's working a little bit. It's really impressive when you are seeing it hands-on and how it's looking like when you are using this kind of software. It gives you really everything from prediction to the suppliers. You could have a look on which kind of CO2 footprint you want to have. You could say, I want to have 20%, 30%, 50%, etc. And it has a really good integration into the NVC tool. So with these both tools, you have the possibility to do your ESG reporting very well. And of course, all of this, we are working with a lot of partners together to integrate this. It could be a consulting company with whom we are working. We could work with other vendors together who are doing maybe one part of the sustainability part. We could work with open source companies together. So everything is possible. Just reach out to us because we think we need to go to the future now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have some time, so I am going to open the floor. If there are any questions in this small and intimate room, please feel free to raise your hand, and happy to take your questions. But whilst we've got the guys thinking there for some questions, with such an array of different products available at IBM, I wonder whether you could give some advice on how to approach that navigation through. Where is, particularly around sustainability, where is that first hurdle that you see clients tend to fall down? Is it more at the C-level, or actually do you need to work your way down through the different sort of management structures to get to the more grassroots? And how would you approach that for a company that's just starting to think about sustainability?
So I think the most CEOs are knowing that they need to do there something on the sustainability. It's more than on the ground floor that the people are not knowing how to handle this. Because it starts with which kind of data, it starts with which reporting I should use. So there are so much factors to get them done that they are usually not knowing how to start. And it's really in that handling part. It's not on, I'm knowing that I need to do there something and I know that there is coming some legal aspects. It's more on how could I handle it? And this is something where we could help. We could help with partners. We could help with the consulting. We could build an MVP or a POC in the first part to get it done. Yeah? And this is really depending on the customer and where he's starting.
And do you have any insights around where are the particular sectors where this bites the most? Or is this actually a phenomenon that every sector and every company really needs to think about?
It's every sector. And usually every sector has its own challenges, so you need to dig in the challenges of each industry, but it's every industry. And to give you also an example, it's really from the automobile industry to the energies, and we have one reference case with an energy firm, it's E.ON, who built on this platform their sustainability cases.
Fantastic. Any other questions from the floor? So with that said, Dilek, I'd like to thank you again for an insightful
thank you very much.
presentation, and thank you again.
Thank you.